back to California Cooking. I have a co-host today. Here's what's coming up.
Here's what's coming.
First, I'm getting in the kitchen with Haylie Duff, and she's showing me how to make a Tuscan salmon. Then, Easter will be here before you know it, so I'm cooking up a delicious yet simple meal. It's lamb chops with Orzo Pasta. And finally, Eric Spillman is taking us to a New England-inspired seafood restaurant in Malibu. First up, Haylie Duff has been on the morning show many times, and it just so happens our kids go to the same preschool together. So one day at pickup, she said, hey, let's cook something together. So I went over her house and we made an easy Tuscan salmon. And the best part is, it's all in one skillet. Take a look. Haylie.
Hi.
How are you?
I know, I'm so happy to have you
I
over.
know. We bump into each other at school all the time.
And it's always like ships in the night. We're like,
Yeah,
hey.
I know. Because we have little ones that go to the same school, and
Yeah.
I'm always impressed with a mom that cooks and kind of does it all. And I feel like you're one of those.
Most nights.
You have almost 5-year-old and a baby.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Ryan's almost 5 and going up to kindergarten soon.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
Lulu, who's running around in that playroom, I'm sure she'll make an appearance at some point.
Yeah.
Is almost 2.
Were you always someone that liked to cook? Because I know you've had a cooking show, cookbook, right? You've done a lot of
Yes.
different things when it comes to food.
You know what? I didn't always love to cook. Part of what made me start my blog, Real Girls Kitchen, was because I didn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
And everyone in my family seemed to, my mom, my dad, and,
Right.
and my mom finally one day was like, how did I fail
Yeah.
you like this, that you don't know how to make anything? Really, I started my blog because I would share things that I would mess up or burn or
Yeah.
not do right. Through that process, I really fell in love with cooking in my kitchen and the experience of feeding people and what that feels like, that sort of like unity and community. Yeah.
Do you cook every night? No.
I cook just about every night. I make breakfast, I pack lunches.
Yeah.
I'm cooking almost. I cook way, way more than I did before I had kids.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I have kids, I'm like, I make so many meals every week. I can't believe it.
I know. And so you gotta
And sometimes I wish they were a little more elevated than they are. I'm looking at this, I'm like, what a spread of chicken nuggets. I like to eat at home. I feel like you can make healthier choices that way.
Yes.
It's a creative, fun process to do with your kids too. Like my girls love when I ask them to cook. So we do quite a bit of cooking together that way. Sweet. It just makes them more excited to try new things, I feel like too.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I had a hand in making that, so maybe it's not so weird. I guess I'll try it.
Okay, salmon we're gonna make today.
Yes.
Is this on the weekly rotation?
Probably not every week, just because there's maybe a few more ingredients than normal, but this happens often. And I love this recipe because you can make it for your kid. This is a great meal for a girls' night with some wine. It really is super versatile, and it's very, very easy to make and not a lot of ingredients.
I know. You have it all beautifully prepared. Take me through it.
Okay, we're gonna do a little seasoning. So this is just some pink Himalayan salt. It's just gonna go right on the top.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna put this into our skillet. So let me warm it up.
Okay. You want to sear, right? You want to get that.
Yeah, we want a little browning to it. My trick is a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons. And you want to heat your pan first. Don't put oil in your cold pan. These are gonna go skin side up.
Okay.
About 6 minutes.
Okay.
And a great way, if you're not gonna time it, is to just make sure that you see the translucent part of the fish cook halfway up.
Yep.
Then they're ready for a flip. If you're not gonna sit and look at a clock.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna flip them, do the same thing, and we'll set them aside, and then we're gonna make our sauce all in the same skillet. I really like to give them a nice, good browning across the top.
Yeah.
Just so that they can have that really beautiful color.
And I like when
Char
the
to
edge is
them.
crispy on my salmon,
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are a nice little color on them. We're gonna flip them over. And then we're gonna do another 5-6 minutes on the other side too.
Okay.
It'll give our skin that nice crisp to it you were talking about that you like.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna take these off. I'm gonna lower my heat down a little bit.
Okay.
The next thing we're gonna do is put in a little garlic. And we don't want that to burn. You got some crispy skin on there, girl.
I see that.
It's ready for you. What we're gonna do is add a little bit of butter here. But the garlic really adds so much flavor to it.
Yeah.
So also another little trick I have is you can turn the heat all the way off because your pan is so hot, it'll keep it from really scorching it. And you have a little olive oil left in there, so the butter and the olive oil will be a little less likely to burn because it's mixed. We're gonna add some tomatoes. We're gonna let these blister up a little.
Lovely.
They'll take some of the attention off the garlic.
What's fiance's favorite dinner?
He is Italian.
Oh, okay.
He wants stuffed shells. He wants like chicken parm.
Right.
All the ooey gooey stuff. He loves a great pizza. He's very easy to please when it comes to
good.
food. Okay, so that's gonna cook down. We're gonna add our sun-dried tomatoes. But as you can tell, this kind of like all goes into one thing. And what I really look for is the tomatoes to start to like blister and burst a little bit and release some of that flavor.
Get soft, yeah.
You don't want to char them, but like a little melts it down. And then pretty soon the vegetable stock's gonna go in and we're gonna turn it from a little tomato sauce to a cream sauce. So the next thing I do is I add some herbs and then I tear some spinach into it.
Okay.
And this kind of like, you know, when we call it a Tuscan salmon, like kind of reminds me of a little bit more of a Tuscan dish than like a traditional chop it really fine. Like I like that some pieces are big.
Rustic.
Rustic, that's a great word. Some pieces are big, some pieces are little. I wait till the end to do this though, so that it doesn't get like too melted down.
Do you grow anything? Do you have like a little herb?
I do. I have some nice little herbs that grow in my backyard. And I try to use them as often as possible. That's really how they get big, is cutting them and using them. Would you like to do the honors?
I would love to add the cream.
Pull it up, girl. And just like that, we've got our sauce going.
Yes. What about your stock?
So you could put about half of that in if you'd like.
Good.
Perfect. And this just turned into a really beautiful little salmon sauce here.
That is nice.
And then the last thing we're gonna do is add a little Parmesan cheese. Would you like to add that too?
Please.
Pour it in, girl. Perfect.
Okay.
And that just gives you a little added salt flavor in there. Just turn it all up a notch. And this will also give the opportunity for the sauce to really like settle in between all the pieces of fish. And that's kind of it.
And what do you like to serve it with usually? Do you do?
I'll do it with like an orzo or a pasta.
That is so pretty.
It really is a beautiful dish, and it's very, very simple.
A little parsley
ready to eat. A little herb on the top. And then the last few minutes, I put my spinach. So I tend to sort of like wedge them in along the sides so they just don't get too far into the sauce.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
I wish we were opening up a bottle of wine.
I know, I know.
Do you want to pick your piece?
You pick for me.
You like a cooked through piece, so I'm going to give you maybe the little end here. And I also love that because we made that crispy skin, it makes it very easy to just pull it right off. Little spinach.
Thank you.
There you go.
Let's
true moment,
see how
guys.
we did.
And like it might be very, very hot.
It is really good.
Is it good?
It is
Did we
really
do a good job?
good.
Okay,
It
good.
has.
Perfect.
And the sauce,
Yeah, nice.
really nice. And the tomatoes are all soft and lovely.
I'm very hot.
It is hot.
Very hot. I do like that even though you make that cream sauce though, it's really light still. Like it's not, it doesn't overpower the dish. And if you want to, you could kind of just not even put it across the top. If you don't,
No, you're right.
If you don't want. Thanks for coming to cook.
Oh my gosh, this is so yum. I'm gonna do this.
It's also nice with like a little arugula salad. I wouldn't mind that either.
I loved cooking with Haylie. That was such a yummy meal. I'm definitely gonna make that one. Coming up, lobster rolls, fish and chips, an epic seafood tower, and more. Eric Spillman is taking us to a delicious seafood joint in Malibu. Then, I'm making Levi a rainbow spaghetti, but will he like it? We're gonna find out, but first I'm cooking up a Greek-inspired lamb chops with Orzo pasta that would be perfect for Easter. That's coming up next. Easter is right around the corner, one of my favorite holidays. You love Easter too, don't you?
Only Easter, that's it.
I thought it'd be really fun to cook up some lamb chops. They're like meat lollipops with an orzo pasta. Perfect for spring. this time of year, I start to get in the mood for lamb chops because you see them in the supermarket and they're just cute and fun. They're like little meat lollipops. So I have some lamb chops. It makes me think of spring. And so does an orzo pasta with my lamb. And I'm gonna do an orzo pasta with some feta, kind of some Greek vibes, with some feta, cucumber, red onion, garbanzo beans. Hi, Olympia. Olympia knows I have meat. There you, hi. So back there I've got the orzo going, and orzo is pasta, but it looks like rice. So I love it with this kind of a pasta dish. So first off, I'm gonna season my lamb chops. I've got my cast iron back there. And I'm gonna season them with some herb de Provence. But you can do any number of flavors. I always think rosemary's nice on lamb. Obviously garlic, you could do oregano. But since I happen to have this, I'm gonna put that on here. These cook up really fast because they're so thin. Hit them with some salt. And then I like to cook lamb chops like this on a really high heat in a cast iron skillet or on the grill. It would be great too. So we have that going on. And then while our orzo cooks, I'm gonna cut up some cucumber. Love a good little Persian cucumber because they don't have as much in the way of seeds. So you don't have to seed them, they're not too watery. And just cut them into a bite-sized dice. And then to the pasta, I always think mint is such a good combination with lamb. Obviously people like kind of that mint jelly, which I'm not into, but I am gonna add mint to the orzo, so that'll be a play on that. But this is a really quick meal. Before I cut up anything else, I'm gonna get my lamb into the pan. All right, in go the lamb chops. A little oil. One more. There we go. Just let those cook for a sec. Okay, while that's going, I'll do a little red onion. The red onion is strong. My husband does not like raw red onion at all. So when I use it, I just cut it up small because it can stay with you. I get what he's saying. You can taste it hours later, but if you dice it up small enough, it should be good. Red onion, done. Okay, the lamb chops are done, like 5 minutes on a really hot pan. And now the orzo. The pasta, 9 minutes, done. We're gonna add it to a bowl. And right when it's hot, when it's still warm, I love to hit it with lemon because this is when it soaks up all the flavor, when it's still warm. So add your seasoning when it's still hot. So we're gonna squeeze in some lemon. And I'm also gonna add the red onion while it's still warm so it just softens that a little bit. And then some good extra virgin olive oil. This is where you break out the good stuff because you're not cooking it, you're just making almost like a dressing. So you want good olive oil. And I'm gonna also do some lemon zest. A lot of the flavor in a lemon is actually in the zest. That's when you get a really strong lemony flavor, more so than the juice. So I like to zest. And all of our ingredients. Now I don't want to add our feta just yet because it could melt because the pasta is still warm. So we want it to just cool off for a second before we add all of that. To our orzo, then I'm gonna add some garbanzo beans. Just out of the can, drained and rinsed. Maybe 3/4 of a can. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. Our diced cucumber, in it goes. This is almost like making a pasta salad. You could do room temperature, you could do out of the fridge. And then slivered toasted almonds going in. And you gotta toast them because that's what gives you all the flavor and the crunch. And to this, I'm gonna add some herbs. I'm gonna do dill and mint, fresh herbs, which will make it taste so fresh and springy. And then some mint. And I don't cook with mint all that often, but I do think in something like this, it's so nice and unexpected. I think this dish would be so great on an Easter brunch table because it's one of those things that can just sit on the table. You don't have to refrigerate it. Let's stir that up. we're gonna add our crumbled feta cheese, but we wanna make sure our pasta isn't too warm. Our crumbled feta going in. Our Orzo pasta salad is done, and we put it in a beautiful bowl. Easy, right? So flavorful too. I'll get our lamb chops. I put my lamb chops on the platter. You could do it separately, but I think this looks nice. And then just take a little bit of herbs that you have left over. There you go. In just a few minutes. This looks like a lovely Sunday lunch or Easter Sunday brunch. And we're done. That was so good, and I love the family style presentation. Coming up, Eric Spillman is taking us to a great spot off PCH, serving up inspired takes on Crab Shack classics. Then, will Levi like my rainbow spaghetti? We'll find out next. Eric Spillman loves a lobster roll. It reminds him of the summers he spent on the East Coast. So he's taking us to a spot in Malibu, serving up Crab Shack classics that remind him of those summers. Take a look.
Hey Jessica, one of my favorite places to visit is the state of Maine, but it's kind of far away and the winters are kind of harsh there. If you want to get food that's the closest thing to going to Maine, but it's here in Malibu, Broad Street Oyster Company is the place to go. All right, so we're here with Alex and Chris of the Broad Street Oyster Company. Tell me about what you're trying to do here.
So we started Broad Street as a East Coast, West Coast fusion, basically. And what we're trying to do in Malibu is bring that New England clam shack to the beautiful Pacific Ocean.
East Coasters have a lot of pride in is their seafood. And out west, you just don't get that same sort of ownership over the local seafood, but we've got some of the best seafood anywhere in the world. The whole Pacific Ocean's right behind our back right now. So I think it's a focus on trying to build pride in local California seafood, but give it a common context that people know with the East Coast classics like chowder and fish and chips. Then we bring in beautiful Santa Barbara sea urchin. We've got whole spiny lobsters, which are right out here in Malibu.
Well, let's go over your story.
Recently been living in Boston, traveled around the globe, got back to my hometown in New York, packed up my belongings, drove out west, and I had a little rolling oyster cart, and I was flipping lobster rolls and shucking oysters on the side of the street.
And how did that go?
Not as well as I would have liked in the beginning, but coincidentally I ran into Alex in Malibu at a private event. A few months later, we're at Smorgasburg, which is a big event in downtown Los Angeles.
Good.
We had a line of people, and these gentlemen came up, and they were basically saying, you know, want a restaurant in Malibu? I'm like, yeah, sure, all right, whatever, like go. We had 300 people to serve. A few days later, Alex calls me. It's like, you know, so-and-so from Smorgasburg, they're serious. And last July, we came in here as a summer-long pop-up. The day that we opened, we had a line out the door. It was like that until the end of the year. We negotiated a long-term lease, and now we're here in Malibu.
If you haven't had a lobster roll, it is the greatest food of all time. This is great. It's like I'm in Maine. I mean, I feel like I'm in Maine. It's fantastic.
Well, I think you have to begin with this glorious seafood tower in front of you here. We have oysters from Morro Bay, fresh Santa Barbara sea urchin, beautiful shrimp in a nice cocktail glass there, Santa Barbara stone crab. That's how you should start every meal.
Right. Or I want to have you teach me the proper way to eat an oyster.
Just tilt it back, chew it up.
It's like a shot, basically.
You're going to tilt it just like that.
Okay,
Perfect.
just like that. All right.
There you go.
Cheers. Cheers. Awesome. Forget about the horseradish and cocktail. You don't put, if you see somebody putting that on there, you just tell them don't do that, right?
We actually yell at them from the raw bar.
You yell at them, you say no. It destroys the taste. The sea urchins are sort of an acquired taste, right? I mean,
What you're looking for in the sea urchin is actually this orange bit right here,
right.
Which is called uni.
Uh-huh.
And it tastes like oceanic butter.
I've never tried this before, I mean.
Yeah, well here, let's go for it. The nicest bit I can. You got it.
Okay.
Go for it.
What a feast. I mean, this is incredible. Fish and chips. I mean, this is kind of like a traditional type of thing that you put on the menu. Tell me what you're trying to do with this.
We're just trying to make the best fish and chips you ever can get, right? And that starts with bringing in whole fish, breaking them down, making your own tartar sauce in-house, and also paying attention to those French fries. You know, that's not just a throw-in. We take great pride in our fries.
You do. It's clear that quality counts here. Gentlemen, thank you. There's a lot of food here. We got some to take home. Thanks so much. Broad Street Oyster Company is located in the Malibu Village. It's open 7 days a week, and they will come out here and feed you if you ask.
We will.
Jessica?
Eric, that was awesome.
And the best part is, they're open for takeout.
Eric, that was awesome.
On to Levi Likes It. You know what I'm making for you? Rainbow spaghetti.
No.
What do you think? Is it good? What color's your favorite?
How's the pasta?
Yum.
Levi, are you gonna eat the whole rainbow? You want the recipe?
Yeah.
Go to our Instagram at KTLA California Cooking. That's it for us. If you want to hear more of my conversation with Haylie Duff, you can check out our California Cooking podcast. Thanks for watching. I think I lost my co-host. We'll see you next time. But your mom actually has a funny sense of humor.
She does, yes.
You have just been poisoned. That's lovely to realize at the end of your
When you come over for
lasagna.
like Thanksgiving meal.
Okay, sit next to me. You win. You always win. He's taking us to a restaurant in Malibu, serving up Crab Shack classics.
More crab. I don't like crab.
You gotta say it louder.
Eric, that was awesome.
Okay, one more time. Say, Eric, that was
You're so
awesome.
awesome.
Do you think Daddy's gonna like this?
Did you like it? Yummy!
Rainbow spaghetti.
No.